Well, we did it. 77 hours. Got through the whole thing. Now, I guess we'll be doing some post-game. Hunting some headless. And what are the other mini-bosses I might have missed? I think there is one at Senpo Temple that I completely missed, because I just kind of skipped over them. And there's some things I want to acquire some money for, namely the Phantom Kunai. All the stuff that's in here. Funnily enough, my secondary character, which you probably glanced at, 5 hours in, already has the Phantom Kunai. Oh right, I forgot. I forgot! Partial's fine. So let's go to Senpo. Let's start hunting. We've already completed the game, so I guess we'll just sit here and chat, depending on who comes out and who comes to hang out. Well, Hunter, that's your fault for being dummy thick. I mean... Why you have to be so dummy thick for? Yeah. You do gotta jog more. How is it jogging? It was raining today, so I couldn't go out. Really? You're just gonna... Yeah, it's still it was like cold and rainy up here. What are my sticks doing? Like, it's warm one day, and then it's very cold another day, and it's been really annoying weather-wise up here. We're hunting mini bosses I may have missed. Headless and the last Chichman. I think there's a mini boss I missed here at Senpo, so I'm going to go check it out. Should be at the bottom of this hill. Yeah, Centipede in the Temple. I've been watching Playframe while now that I feel like I can watch other people's LPs. And he came across it and I'm like, huh, I should probably do that. Let's see if I remember where. Yeah, it's here. Oh, great. Do that. Well, that's done. Let's grab what else is here. Poor Dan. Although I shouldn't say anything. Dan got like the Ashina guy in front of Kenichiro like in his first try. But he came here and he noped right out. Let me clear this place and then take a better look around. I wanted the death blow. These guys' postures are terrible. Alright. Are these? Yeah, these aren't statues at all. They're mummified people. Yeah, I'm at endgame stats now. These aren't statues. They're mummified. Everybody take a picture. Look at this sassy eyebrow quirk. Sassy. No, but... So this guy's sitting in front of a bunch of prayer scrolls and some Afruda. Meanwhile, some of these bugs are still moving. Very much like the Valley of Defilement. Which might suggest how defiled this whole place is. Amongst these holy people, because usually when there's a specific term, and I forget what it is, of when Japanese Buddhist monks basically stop doing anything and they basically mummify, and that's what these guys look like. But and they're venerated as very holy, but this place is defiled with all of these bugs. Thousands of uncounted worms and centipedes and roaches. That looks like a mandala back there. Thank you, Speckless. Sokushinbutsu. And it makes sense because I was rewatching the credits, and there's actually a couple of theological advisors for this game, which kind of blew my mind. And this looks like a mandala with the Buddha in the center. Yep. Well, to reach nirvana, and I was talking to some mystic referee, and he grew up in a Hindu Buddhist household, and he was telling me about karmic debt and such from his, like, the way he grew up. Also, if you jump up, you're killing bugs. That's what that is. It's not water at all. It's just bug juice. Anyway, and he was explaining to me a lot about karmic debt and such like. But yeah, nirvana is like the rejection of worldly desires, but these people just didn't reject worldly desires. The mandala is... Those aren't like snakes on either side, right? It's just fabric, right? Yeah. Material, like they couldn't reach nirvana, they couldn't let go. The Buddha is sitting on a lotus in this mandala. Alright. Looks like we're all done here. What are you guys all guarding? Why are you guys guarding a spirit balloon? Alright, some other things we were talking about here and there, and I think I mentioned this in the Discord. Hey, Smoot. We're doing post-game, we're hunting stuff. There's a lot of child... like... Hold on. So there's a lot of child these things. There's a specific term for them. They should be listed under the Jizo Wikipedia article. So, Jizo is the bodhisattva in Japanese Buddhism that takes care of children. Now, see, children, when they die as babies, or when children die before their parents, and especially when they're like born stillborn, or they're aborted, or they just like they die as like babies and children, they go to hell because it is a mortal sin to cause that much suffering to your parents, so you go to hell. Alright, sure. That sounds really harsh. It kind of is. But there's ways in which these children can pass on in hell. One of which is the rock piles that you saw in the fishing hamlet in Bloodborne. The second thing is making these babies with red bibs. Now, the red bibs are supposed to protect the children while they're in hell, because they can't cross a river because they don't have enough karmic foundation to like help them across the river. So, in the mortal realm, they make these babies. They put bibs on them. The bibs are supposed to protect the children in hell from evil spirits, long enough so that Jizo, who is a bodhisattva, can come and hide them in his robe so that he can teach them enough so that they can cross the river and pass on. In my opinion, the game is suggesting that Kotaro is Jizo, protector and patron of children. Partially because Jizo, when he's depicted, he look like he's an adult, but he has a baby face. Like, he's depicted with the face of a child. And in this game, you have Kotaro and his good ending, I guess, go to the illusory hall to teach the children who were failed divine children. And, like, that's why his quest requires a pure white flower and a pure red flower, because they're pinwheels and they're given in remembrance to all these children that this temple murdered in their pursuit of immortality. So that's why there's all these children all around. And if they're 1-to-1, like, this temple killed a lot of children. Hey, Dacho. You know, I've heard of Dororo, but I, like, actually have never seen it. I've meant to watch it, and I've never gotten around to seeing it. Take your badminton thing and go somewhere else with the badminton thing. No, I don't. Where? Hey, we'll try this out. Yeah, I didn't see any other ones with a big shield like that. Alright, next thing is... So the fact that they have like theological advisors for this game makes me want to like research even more, because I do want to do like a primer for people about some of the stuff here that they might not know about, because, you know, okay, so next thing is we gotta start killing the headless and the last Chitchman. But first, I need to max out the skill point. So let's rest and kill a couple of these dudes over here and then go over to Fountainhead. Wrong way. Would you? Please. So that's pretty much what we're doing. We're in post-game. Preparing for new game. Hey, and I'll take the adamantite scrap. Although I probably need fulminated mercury, and to do that I probably need to ring the bell. Blurg. Do 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 do. I'm gonna try something. Someone on YouTube mentioned that what you're supposed to do with them is to, like, direct them to you, not, like, away. You jerk. Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't letting me through the door. Yeah, it just wasn't letting me through the door. Yeah. I don't like dealing with those guys. You weren't supposed to come, you jerk. Look. Camera being weird. Jerkwads. I like your bell hat though. So the grind for skill points are real, apparently. Yeah, no, I didn't want to, like, get caught up in the shitchman. This guy's easier now that he doesn't have a friend. After this round, we'll go over to the Fountainhead. We'll check this one then. Side note, so that guy you rescue, is it this one? Yep, it's that one. 5:30. The guy you rescued, he's apparently formerly of the Memorial Mob, and he apparently reveals that the Memorial Mob basically are grave robbers, because that's a thing in a FromSoft game. So that's fun. Favorite grave robber in a FromSoft game, go. The other merchant dude that you that, like, he's stuck at Ashina Castle and he wants you to get rid of all the samurai on the ground. And he comes and hangs out at the temple after you do that. Like, you talk to him again and he's like, yeah, I was part of the mob. And the Memorial Mob, I guess. And he's like, I decided to not do that anymore. Well, there's more than just patches. There's the actual grave robber in Demon Souls. I've got money. I'm gonna go... And, you know, Patch is a grave robber. I mean, he does his own murdering. I'm gonna go to the temple real quick. Like, Bulge doesn't kill anybody. He just robs their corpses. Patches is a one-stop shop. Or at least attempts to be. I'm gonna see what I can spend my money on, and then we're going hunting. Patches is an entrepreneur. Looks like we can get this one. So we shall. Alright, let's go fight the Shitchman. So we need... not that. We need this. See ya, Hunter. We need that. And maybe some divine confetti. Maybe we'll mess with Dragon Flash. I like slap happy bosses and no lore. Because I am going to attempt to do platinum in this game, but I'm not sure if it's going to be this profile or my secondary. So back to Fountainhead. Yes. That woman. Like, you know, I'm not sure, because she's just kind of there. And I'm not sure what she's supposed to be. Hey, Loki. Well, I don't think so. Tomoe is a very... like, Tomoe is supposed to be an Omikami woman, so she's supposed to look like the main enemies of this place. Also, she is drawn on her skills. Like, her specific skills. Like, that's Ishin or something, and... yeah, right here. Okay, so that's Tomoe in the image for Spiral. Yeah, like that's Tomoe. Like, she's got, if you look really close, she's got the mask that she broke apart that we have to put together. Like, yeah, this is Tomoe. Um, Ishin. And I think Sekiro's in one. But yeah, this is Tomoe. And this is a monk. And these are the Ashina guys from the castle. So, like, they're in places. You can see what they look like. So, I don't know what the girl is supposed to actually be. Like, there's no like lore description or anything. Like, I don't think she's even Takeru either, because Takeru is described as having been beheaded. I'm trying to decide which one is the closest one. It's probably this one. Let me try this one. Emma's probably experimenting on herself. She says very early that dragon rot happened before. And she had like some regret that they didn't find a cure. Also, Emma's a bit special. I mean, there is that. I have to switch for Shuriken. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's like... I'm trying to Skyrim up there. Promising. So we're going after that Chichman. But I'm trying to get a better angle than front on. Well, it's actually legitimately water. This is one of the places where the localization's a bit soft. In that the, yeah, I'm looking at him right now. going downriver? I believe there are specific sort of yokai. They show up in places of great suffering, like super great suffering. The first place you find them is in the abandoned dungeon, obviously, but the abandoned dungeon, they are standing on top of a pile of bones, and where they buried them, like, those pile of bones are all different Ashina warriors who were on the wrong side of the rebellion. The rebellion being when Ishin took over for the junta, like, he performed his junta. So, like, they got killed and buried in like, the dungeon, which isn't the best place for bodies to go, because usually there's cremation and they move on that way, but, like, burying them isn't ideal. So, all of that suffering probably manifested in the Shichiman warrior. Now, I don't have the kanji for Shichiman on hand, but from looking at the Romanji, it looks like it's centered around the number 7, which is an important number, although it's not as important as, like, the number 3. The other place we find a Shichiman warrior, who also, by the way, has the malcontent ring, which in and itself is something akin, like a keystone or a trigger object of great suffering, because the person who had the malcontent ring, the sculptor's partner, was basically eaten by the apes, plus the ape's own suffering of their, like, of its loneliness. And then you've got the general suffering here, hidden away underneath the bed, as it were, at Fountainhead Palace. Yeah, that's definitely 7-something warrior. That's what the kanji means. Seven something warrior, yeah. 7-faced. And he dropped a lapis lazuli, which we do need for high level, because there's like 6 in a playthrough, and you need like 8. Fountainhead lazulite is a symbol of eternity, and anything forged with it will never break nor rust thanks to the blessings of the divine dragon. Tools forged with lazulite transcend human intellect and are dubbed as treasures of the dragon. Yeah, well, the number 4 is more associated with death, because, of its onomatopoeia. A bundle Jizo. So yeah, it's like basically under the bed, as it were. Hanging out underneath the water. And by the way, the water is the keystone of this entire game. And all of this water flows into Ashina eventually, because the spring is up there. And all of this water is sacred. All of this water is why things are the way they are in Ashina. I mean, as it goes through the more mundane lands, it loses some of its magical abilities, but this is where this water comes from. And remember, water feeds the persimmons. The persimmons are fed to the divine child. The divine child's blood is, like, replenished via the persimmons. And the divine child's blood is basically rice. Therefore, ergo, blood is rice. Yeah, like, yeah, because if you go all the way to the top, it's the divine dragon. And all of this water is flowing downward into Ashina. And guess who is sitting right here but a Shichman warrior who is at the pinnacle of the suffering of Ashina. Now, I'm kind of spitballing here, but the fact that the Shichman warrior is sitting right here isn't just because of the suffering in Fountainhead Palace, or this area in particular, but this is the source of all of the suffering in Ashina, and therefore there's a Shichman warrior there. Yeah. Mibu Village is at the very bottom. Like, if you think of this as, like... Let me pull out the map. Is the map here, or do I have to go to Bonfire to get the map out? I think I have to go to Bonfire to get the map out. Meh. Guess we're going to Bonfire. Like, Mibu Village is more or less at the bottom of the map. If you think of the map kind of vertically, even though it's not really vertical, if you think of it kind of vertically, Mibu Village is at the very bottom. You know, Mibu Village is very interesting in regards to Fountainhead, because their dharmic assignment, their karmic assignment, is being at the very bottom. To trudge along at the very, very bottom of where they are. Map. So, here's Fountainhead. Mibu's at the bottom right-hand corner. Ashina Castle is basically at the middle. yeah, the more you want something, the further away it goes. That's kind of the way it is. So Mibu is basically at the bottom. All the water flows from where we are right now. Because you can see the waterfall right in, like, right under the F of Fountainhead. And that water goes everywhere else. Mibu Village, being at the very bottom, has basically peasantry, and they're farming what looks supposed to be like rice they're farming, but it doesn't look quite like it. Although there's a bunch of persimmon trees in and around there. And it looks like they're also a fishing village. But here's the interesting bit about Mibu Village. Mibu Village, they try to reject their dharmic assignment being at the very bottom, because they want to become citizens of the palace. They are entranced with the idea by their priest, who considers himself sacred, which is why he's got Shimenawa wrapped around his shoulders. But the priest, in wanting to become something greater than he is essentially a gaki. He drinks and drinks and drinks, but he can never, like, quench his thirst. But the thing is, he dragged everybody else in the Mibu Village into his own hell. And this goes into one of the major themes of people kind of rejecting God, or rejecting Buddha, which is an interesting inverse of a normal FromSoft trope of, like, their God or gods or whoever the deity is in the game kind of abandoning humanity. Because Gwyn basically abandoned everything to sacrifice himself to the fire to try to maintain his own power. God is thought to have left in Shadow Tower Abyss, and you have all of these people, all the monsters basically in every level, trying to wait for God to show back up. Meanwhile, everybody, the humans outside, think of the tower as God, which is interesting. Echo Knight, you have essentially Satan just moving pieces about, but it's not like really about man and God, or God abandoning things. Satan is just kind of there trying to tempt people with a redstone. Kingsfield, God left a long time ago in Kingsfield in the origin, and he left 2 dragons in charge. Just so happens that the 2 dragons hated each other. I'm talking about Seath and Gyra did nothing wrong. So, like, Sekiro has a very interesting thing here where it's not like God disappearing or, like, just not being there and people waiting for it. People kind of rejected God or Buddha or the Buddha's teachings because they want immortality. But the immortalities they're trying to get don't, like, super exist. Yeah, Bloodborne as well. And, like, Bloodborne isn't inversed like Sekiro is. Like, they're trying to become closer to the Great Ones who exist, but the Great Ones are unknowable. And, like, you can never know the Great Ones. And then the closest they ever come to a Great One, like, humans killed her. Yeah. So, like, you know, that's some of the metaphysics that I'm kind of playing with right now, with what's going on. Yep, the man who rejected immortality becomes God. And that's the interesting thing, because everybody else, from supposedly devout Buddhist monks who went and sacrificed children out the wazoo to try to create a false divine child, to Owl and Genichiro and all of these people trying to become immortal for their own ends without really understanding the whys and the hows. Yeah, Genichiro. Well, isn't Genichiro's immortality come from the rejuvenating waters and not from Kuro? Like, he went and drank the rejuvenating waters. Classic Genichiro. Because in Genichiro's "you didn't win" statement, his eyes grow red. Yeah. Who else does that? The Emerald Herald is an obvious analog to the Divine Child here. The Emerald Herald is a false dragon created by Aldia. In his attempt to understand, like, the legacy of the dragon. Yeah, Ishin is fascinating. I'm sorry, I'm like leaving that on the map here instead of actually going somewhere. We need to go fight some headless, I think. This means we should probably change bonfires. Go downstairs. Since we're here, probably just do the underwater headless first. And yeah, this is the very end of Sengoku. This is pretty much right before the central Japanese government like smacks all the warlords down in right before the period change. Alright, what do we got? Purple gourds, divine confetti that I'm probably going to forget that I... Yeah, Ishin knew about the Fountainhead Palace. I think there's a bit of a story about him trying to court Tomoe, and Tomoe almost kills him. I heard that secondhand, so if anybody can confirm, I think that's a sake dialogue. So like that's how Ishin knows about riding the lightning. Eh. Looking... Isn't the headless here? Huh. I'm gonna keep that, but I don't... Huh. Because I've already done it, but, like... That's not the precious bait I used. Oops. Is this the right one or is this not the right one? Where's the right headless? There it is. Ha! Damn it. Yeah, it's called. I've taken to calling it by its actual name because it's short. Open Gate. So it's actually um interesting to note that Ishin doesn't use it like at all. So I can't use Divine Confetti down here, okay. That's what I was fumbling around with doing. Does anyone do anything? Can I use my... Well, the black one isn't... It doesn't kill people as they resurrect, but it can still kill Kuro. Yeah. Because, he is bleeding at the start of the final boss. Because he's been cut. Sounds like it. Daito? The heck? How the hell did I get terrored so fast? Bah. It's also got a really interesting guard too. It's a big flower, which I think is echoed in the red one. I was hitting the up button, you jerks. Yeah, I'm thinking it's about 20 years. Loki, what are you... Dog, what are you doing? Was Emma even like... Is she just kind of recounting the tale from Dogen, or... Oh, right, yeah. Let me drink out of my gourd. Roberto! Yeah, very true, faded visage. I don't like fighting underwater. It's very unwieldy. Yeah, I have it. It's right there. I've been drinking out of it. But they've just been killing me really fast. I appreciate that these terror things look like fish. Listen, Yobo's the best. Ah, damn it! I almost had that. Yeah, some of the English is very good. It's still kind of weird. To be like, I don't know. It's not as good as it could be. Um, El Matapureko. You wanna not choose to side with Owl, and you'll come here naturally after that. Yashadiku's Spiritfall. Fallen, headless spirit of Yashadiku. Briefly sacrifice max vitality and posture while gaining a large attack power boost. Consume spirit emblems to use repeatedly. Headless are the ruined form of corrupted heroes who once fought for their country. This brave soul's twin was lost in utero. He may not have fallen to the palace nobles had his sibling been at his side. Ooh, interesting lore. Hate fighting headless, especially underwater. So all headless, I guess, are different heroes. And it is analogous to Akko's blessing. No, this is the first one I've done. This is the first headless I've done. Because I was here. Ooh, carp! Time for fish. There he is. Give me the carp. I want your scale. Blitzball. Waiting for him to respawn. Gimme the carp scales. I like the idea of being underwater for the finally in a FromSoft game. Fun fact. Kingsfield 1 US or 2 JP, depending on how you count them. You are stuck on the island of Melanat, and you can die in the first like 10 seconds of the game because where you spawn is on like a tiny little ledge in the middle of the ocean. So if you're like trying to figure out the controls, you're gonna fall. Right into the water, and you will die that way. your treasure, carp scales. Where'd you... There we go. Got you now. Yeah, so, fun fact, all the Kingsfield games and also Shadow Tower, you can die when you spawn in because of where they drop you, and I think FromSoft thought it was funny. Shadow Tower, the original Shadow Tower, which you can play on PS3, because it's available on digital. Oh yeah, Eternal Ring has the ocean. Yep. Most certainly they do. Yeah, Shadow Tower, which you can play on PS3, it spawns you on a tiny bridge, so if you go left or right, you die, and you have to start over. It's just that simple. Kingsfield 4, if you go slightly to the right, you fall in lava, and you die. Kingsfield 1 US, 2 JP, you move left or right, you fall in the water and die. Are you seeing a pattern? Welcome to Kingsfield. Enjoy your first death. Yep, it's pretty brutal. I'm just gonna use an idol. I don't know what the first death in Kingsfield actual one is because I haven't played it yet. Kingsfield 2 US 3 JP I haven't played yet either. Echo Knight doesn't have any combat, so you don't have to worry about that. Miyazaki didn't join FromSoft until 2006. So no, like that's all FromSoft. That's all Nabeshima actually. Side note, I feel bad for Nabeshima because Nabeshima directed Left Alive. I'll just leave that there. That could have been Namashima. Namashima was like the number 2 at FromSoft for a long time. And then he left after Miyazaki became president. The number 1 at FromSoft at that time is now on the board of directors at Kadakawa Dwango. And that's Naotoshi Zin. And he's technically Miyazaki's boss. And he's the guy that Miyazaki referenced a couple of years ago at E3 about a remake of something or other. He's like, that's not my... Miyazaki said, that's not my property. That's technically my boss's property. And he's a scary guy, so I'm not answering for him. I forget if they asked about, if that was an ask about Kingsfield or something else. But the only guy that could be is Naotoshi Zen. Yeah, I wanna see what a Yui Tanimura directed game would look like. That'd be pretty ace. Since it came up earlier, let's see if the girl is still there. let's do a little bit of investigation. Well, to be fair, Demon Souls is actually not the first game that Sony did that to. After the localization process was finished and Age Tech was getting ready to release it, Sony decided to cancel Shadow Tower Abyss in the US. This pissed off Age Tech something fierce, by the way. But Sony cited that we don't think Shadow Tower is going to make a whole lot of money. Not Tomoe. Can I use the monocle? No, it blurs out on her. Oops, not what I wanted to do. So, by the way, these are Sakura blossoms. You guys haven't been privy to my ranting and raving about why Everblossom term. This also doesn't look like Japanese clothes. It looks like either ancient Chinese or... I want to say ancient Chinese. It doesn't seem like it's hanbok, which would be Korean. I need somebody to rip her model out. She looks asleep. Yeah. And since they've been saying that the dragon's heritage is foreign and needs to return home, I can't figure out how to zoom in on the Nightjar monocular. That's funny how you can still pray. I'm actually of the mind that she is sacrificed to the big Sakura tree. Now, why do I think that? In real life, there is a 500-year-old Sakura tree that grows out of a rock in Japan. And Speckless brings up a really good point. This person could have been married to either the tree or the dragon, or both, since the dragon is the tree. Now I regret not, like, coming out and, like, checking out this place. Remember, this game is very focused on duality. It is very focused on pairs. There has to be 2 tiers for you to get the best endings. There are 2 guardian apes. One is the marriage of the other. There's always the wolf and the cub, and the master and the servant. 2 arms, left and a right. There is huge amounts of duality in this game. Everything has to come in pairs. If it doesn't come in a pair, you're not going to get the best ending, which is why if you only give the gracious gift of tear from one eye of a dragon, you're not going to get the best endings. There's always somebody sacrificed in marriage. The mortal blade, yes, the mortal blades are paired. I think virtually everything comes in a pair in this game. Tears have to come from both eyes, 2 swords, a father and a son, a master and a servant, 2 arms. So imagine that you have this person who is basically married to the tree/dragon, who is growing here out of this rock, a la the real life version of this 500-year-old Sakura tree in Japan that's like growing out of a rock, and is also super sacred because of it. Yeah, Genichiro's also a counter. I mean, just because you're paired to one thing doesn't mean you're not paired to another thing. So, like, there's a huge amount of duality, and this is also why I hate that they call the Sakura blossoms ever blossoms in this game. They are Sakura trees, because Sakura, by the way, if you're near a big cherry blossom festival, you should go, because they should be peaking around now. Sakura is a duality between life and death, and the fragility and the fleetingness of life, but also how beautiful life is in that fleeting moment. It's a duality it's like emblematic of the duality within Japanese Buddhism. Like, it is, you know, the fleeting of time, the fragility of life, the beauty of life, but life and death are like intertwined in a single thing, because Sakura blossoms never last. They only last a couple of days and they're out. I wonder if they wanted the so yeah, I mean, Westerners know what Sakura trees are. They know what koi ponds are. They didn't need to, like, localize those words. And, you know, Fated, that's also the thing. Once you come to Fountainhead, the entire game shifts to Shintoism. And that's what I'm pretty much referring to. Like, Act 3 isn't Buddhism, it's Shintoism. And this also goes back to the whole paired aspect of this game, because Japan uses Buddhism as its kind of death religion, if we take what my old high school East Asian history teacher to heart. Buddhism is the death religion. Shintoism is everything else. And Act 3 shifts pretty hard into Shintoism. This is all Shinto. Side note, I mentioned this on my Twitter when I talked about what Tomoe means. But Tomoe is not just the person in this game. You see the Tomoe symbol all over the place on Fountainhead. And Tomoe also, the Tomoe symbol is also supposed to represent like swirling water. FromSoft did their homework. They did their homework. By the way, if you're near Brooklyn or DC at all, go run and see the cherry blossoms. They should still be up. Because Japan blossoms first and then America. But yeah, you see how the This is all probably one tree. Or like growing out of the big rocks or something. And then you've got all these child trees. And then you've got a couple wisteria trees for good measure. Yeah, 2 daughters, but one dies, so there's only 2 at the end, and then they die together. Actually, you know, the 2 women, the 2 daughters, might have just been young, but enfeebled by the Mist Nobles. Because they seem real young. Especially the one who's, like, killing Mist Nobles. You're very Duracinade. Alright, let's go kill another boss. Yeah, pretty much, Pagliacci. Well, it's the source of rejuvenating waters, and the rejuvenating waters are slightly different from the dragon's heritage, but the divine dragon is the source of the heritage, but I'm not sure if, like, the water is the same, similar but different in the same ballpark. Has anyone figured out how the divine heritage is passed on? Is it just kind of like this cosmic you from Buddha? Okay, where are we going now? Oh, there's a headless over here, so we'll go over there. Siring. That's an odd term to be using. Like, siring is usually just kind of birthing, but, like, there's also a mention of creating. Yeah, that's what I assumed. I assumed that the poor kid gets chosen. Not so much like he is just kind of born in the wrong place. I kind of want to burn through this tree. I hear there's a really cool skill in here. Yeah, well, that's why Owl was in the opening cinematic cutting random kids on the field. He cuts Wolf to see if he bleeds. And he bleeds, so he's not a divine heir. But that's why he cuts him in the beginning of the game. Not because he's, you know, a weirdo. Well, he's that too. But he's not, like, just a weirdo. He can't be cut. He can't bleed. So, since Wolf bled, he's obviously not the dude. Ah, come on. I was trying to get out. Oh, come on! Ah! Oh, come on, that was... Ugh. So mad. Ah, dang it! Every time I'm gonna go for my purple modded thing. It just knows. It just knows. Freaking dirt. Get your own butt. Come on! Akko's Spirit Fall. Faudlin, headless spirit of Akko that increases vitality and posture damage for a time. Consumed spirit emblems are used repeatedly. Headless are the ruined form of corrupted heroes who once fought for their country. Seize the power of an inhuman spirit by laying it to rest, but risk going quite mad unless something is offered in return. I am intrigued by this extra... Oh, there's Yarashiku. Yasharakyu. Bite the candy and take the Yasharakyu stance to impart its inhuman benediction. Forbidden at the temple, this candy was distributed far and wide in exchange for donations towards costly undying research. Okay, so the temple made this sugar, like they made pretty much the rest of it. Like Misen did the Gokans. But Senpo pretty much made the candies. Now my question is, are these actually sugar? Or what are these actually made of? They're like little facimiles, but they're like sugar, but then you go up to the Spirit Fall, which is the true version, and you see that the spirit that these sugars are inviting are super corrupted. And then Akko says, excess karma. And like, check out the icons. Like, they are the same icons, except not this candy. You get the headless, because they like rip the head off or something. Yeah, it's like sugar is something distilled in water. But yeah, that's what I mean. What else is in the sugar? It makes it palatable, but what else is in the sugar? Yeah, and water is blood, like we mentioned earlier. It's also rice, but rice is blood. And it seems like the Senpo monks destroyed or corrupted these spirits. Because these heroes, quote unquote, would be kami, lowercase kami, for the area. Jerks. And it's like they kept him here. Because these are like the stone plinths. They like kept him there deliberately. Yeah, they were corrupted. The nobles seem to have corrupted that guy just because they could. How are we doing on... Divine Confetti? We only have 3. Listen, Pagliacci, I'm Robert. I'm gonna grind for some Sen and some XP for a few minutes because I need to buy some more Divine Confetti. Oh, right, yeah, that's right. I'm Velka. Here's something one of the Discords I'm on said the other day, and it's gonna blow everybody's mind. So Robert's dad is a giant. He's also a dad, and he's got it basically as Veihander, and he's wearing a lot of armor. The legend never dies. He's so... Puns like that get me. I love puns. I love puns so much, you know. I like my farming very mindless, so I'm just gonna do this for a minute or two. Oh, by the way, here's what I mean by all the Tomoe symbols. Look at all those Tomoe symbols. I haven't done that either. I remade my old DS1 build from my PS3 days. Platinum DSR. Moved on. Japanese Lady Maria is basically just Emma. Especially if you go on the evil path. Yeah, Kieran is awesome. She has great fashion sense. Wouldn't the sculptor be more of our waifu in this game anyway? I mean, he does a lot more leveling up than Emma does. She only plants the persimmon seeds in. Kenichiro's waifu. So these guys, who are basically turning into old ones, is it because they're hanging out in water most of the time? Or is there something else at play? Are they just turning into mer people? They just kind of look like old ones? What's the thinking there? The Squid Bros? Squid Nobles? Aren't we all Seath's children except me, who's a Gyra child, because Gyra did nothing wrong? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then they put that poor man through a lot of humiliation by giving him exactly what he wanted, but also making him like enthralled to a giant freaking koi fish. No, I think everything's just kind of falling apart. Well, it's not just that it isn't growing, it's just that they don't care. They have immortality, so why do anything now? They could do it tomorrow. They were immortal. All they want is time. See, like, it makes perfect sense to me because I played Durosane. See the icon up there? Because Durosane, the fairies do exactly the same thing as the Mist Nobles do. They sit there eating other people's time because they want it. They need the time. They need to eat the time. And they go on these rampages when they find living people, because only living people and living animals too, because you can take time from animals. Animals have time. And so all they're doing is going around gorging themselves on other people's time. Just like the Mist Nobles here are gorging themselves on other people's use, which is basically time. Yeah, so are the fairies. The fairies are basically parasites. Listen, that VR headset was cheap. Black Friday was awesome. I got it. But you can tell that they made Durosane at the same time as this game, because the cross-pollination is pretty much right here. Almost there. So why is the Moonlight Greatsword look like a tree branch? He's a tree dragon. Of course it looks like a tree branch. It also has shades of the Storm Ruler because wind. But yeah, the Storm Ruler in DS3 is a real historical item. It's an imperial treasure. And there's the 7 again. Alright. Now, let's go. See if we can upgrade anything and buy some divine confetti. Yeah, from the West, Korea, China. Not the first time that's happened. Remember, Doman from Kuan, and therefore his two children are implied to be of the Hata clan. And the Hata clan came to Japan via Korea from, like, they're Chinese, but they came to Japan via Korea. And they became the Hata clan. And Doman is, Ashia Doman in Kuan is supposed to be of the Hata clan. Not the first time. I don't know if anybody remembers Bane posting. I mean, there is always one. We'll pick this up first. And then... because I use firecrackers more. And we'll get this one next. Next thing. Let's come to this guy. Yeah, whatever. Two more of those. I'm not sure if we're gonna get DLC. Like, I hope for DLC. What would be the timeline? I mean, FromSoft is going to release another game in July, probably. I mean, granted, it's an old game remastered, but it's coming out probably in July. Also, who else is going to be buying Metal Wolf Chaos? Huh? 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 Metal Wolf Chaos? Yeah. Alright, let's go fight another headless. Metal Wolf Chaos is awesome. It's more arcadey. It's a lot more arcadey. Metal Wolf Chaos is about the President of the United States who is suffering under a coup d'etat by his own Vice President, Richard Hawke. Yes, Richard Hawke. And the President of the United States has to grab his mech and go after those men who decide to go after these United States of America. Things like, "Let's party" is screamed out loud in front of the White House. Also, the best waifu is Jodie. It's kind of amazing. It was Japan only for a very long time, and it came out for the original Xbox. And after a groundswell of internet support, including the Zaibatsu, so if you are a person who watches Two Best Friends, you would have seen this LP. It got to FromSoft's not Miyazaki, the guy in charge of marketing, who I follow on Twitter, and I can't remember his name right now. And he's like, "What? Why is Metal of Chaos making all this noise all of a sudden?" And so Devolver went up to FromSoft at E3, and they're like, "Hey, can we release Metal Wolf Chaos?" And like, you know, Devolver got the people together in Japan to help with the negotiations. And so 6 people from FromSoft, including the original producer, are kind of working on it. It's arcadey, it's cheesy, campy, satirical. It's its own story. It's probably coming out July 4th, because it's the 4th of July, and it's about America. It's about these here United States and these here presidents of the United States. It's probably coming out on July 4th. Kind of. I'd recommend checking out at least the trailer. It's hard to it's hard to describe, but it's way easier than Armored Core because it's just kind of more arcadey, but you're piloting a mech. Yeah. So, considering that's probably coming out in the next couple months, what's the timeline for any DLC for this game? Yeah, it's very cheesy. It's like FromSoft's humor turned up to 11. They haven't done a comedy game in a while. I think the last comedy game they did or had a hand in was 3D Dot Game Heroes, which made fun of Demon Souls. There's a couple of Demon Souls jokes in 3D Dot Game Heroes, which is available on the PS3, and it's still like $15 at a GameStop. So if you have a GameStop nearby, search for 3D Dot Game Heroes if you want to see FromSoft make fun of Demon Souls. Anyway, I just opened these up, so I'm like reading them. So, increases amount of sen obtained from enemies, improves item drop rates, which I should get, but I'm getting combat stuff instead. This opened up Senpo leaping kicks, which is probably... They're dressed like the guys who... The purple guys that Ishin kept killing. Yeah, that's exactly their thing. And you can see that it's drawn like them too. So are they actually monks? A technique refined by the recluses of Senpo. According to their practices, mastery of the leaping kick provides one has attained true enlightenment. The other game where FromSoft's humor kind of shows itself is the PS3 game Enchanted Arm. Yeah, I think Owl was probably working with Senpo. Fun fact, ninja is the gender neutral term. Shinobi is male ninja. Kunoichi is the female ninja. If you play Tenchu, you'd know that because Ayame is a kunoichi. All right, what's next? We're going after another headless. Okay. This one. I played Wrath of Heaven like 6 months ago. I own Wrath of Heaven, so I played Wrath of Heaven for about a couple hours. I was supposed to play more Wrath of Heaven before this game came out, but I ended up playing an Echo Knight 2 instead. Oh yeah, well, you know the Snake Eyes, the Snake Eyes bosses. They have a moveset from Wrath of Heaven's like first boss for Ayame, the guy with the gun. At the end of her like first mission, he has the same grab that the... Yeah, he has the same grab attack that the Shirafuji has. I'm like, what? Come on, FromSoft. It's super neat. Yeah, I really liked it. Where is it? Castle. Should be, what, Serpent Shrine? I'm trying to remember which way it is. I think it's the Serpent Shrine. Yeah, it's a big gun. He like uses it, he has a grab attack and then shoots you. I'm gonna go here, although I think it's a different one. FromSoft voice acting before Frog Nation is an acquired taste. If you can get through Eternal Ring, which isn't great, you can probably get through the rest of it. Oh my gosh, Solus in Eternal Ring. It's like H-Tech went and found somebody's 2-year-old to do most of his lines. Okay, so it's that way, so I need to switch... Is this outskirts? Yeah, it is outskirts. And then, like, when Solus finally realizes the meaning of death, he, like, gets this really dark, deep voice, and he's like, death! And I'm like, Solus? Really? Good times. Alright, I don't got time for this, y'all. I'm gonna go kill myself to some headless. It should be like this way. I've killed 2 headless. We're just hunting down the rest of them. I saw this one on my secondary playthrough. And I ran right by it and I'm like, nope. My secondary playthrough is only 5 hours old. No, this is not Bell Demon. Same idea. Not the same place. We're gonna go right past him and make sure this door is open. I don't think I've opened this door on this game. Don't have time for this. I'm gonna pull brand start. Alright. See ya, H. Smoot. Still don't have time for this. Alright, so this door is open even though I never came this way. Take that. Whoops. Yeah, that money would have been nice earlier. Alright, so now let's go mess with the headless. Oh, maybe it is the one connected to Senpo. I see. Interesting. Yeah, there's another in Ashina Castle. That suddenly doesn't really make sense as to how Senpo fits with Ashina, because I could have sworn Ashina and Senpo were kind of on the same, on different levels. Yeah, there's another underwater one over there. Yeah, kudos place. That said, they're not one-to-one because you don't see the shinobi hallway. It's just kind of, it stops and then it loads. It's not showing you like where they're going. Ishin is full of regret for his actions when he was younger. He's regretting the actions he took when he was ambitious and power hungry. He's had time to understand what his actions mean. Yeah, like he regrets becoming king. Now this is why I get a lot of like King Lear / Kurosawa Akira's Ran vibes. And if you haven't seen either of those movies, you should. Because in King Lear and in Ran, the king is still alive, but the king is kind of preparing for his death. And in both instances, King Lear, he has like 4 princesses. He has like 4 daughters. And like they start fighting over each other for inheritance of the kingdom. In Ran, he has like 4 sons, and they all have different colors. And it ends up with the entire kingdom basically going through an apocalypse of war because of the war that his sons create in his kingdom. And it's a lot of it because the king at the time is very much like Ishin. Ishin kind of knows things are going awry. Remember, before the game even starts, Ashina had an encounter with the Interior Ministry. The Interior Ministry kind of poking holes in Ashina's thing. And part of the plan, part of probably Owl's plan, which is, it's actually kind of his plan B. His plan A is Hirata Estate, but that was 3 years ago and it failed because of Wolf. But plan B is using Wolf to go after the generals And the people in power, all of the linchpins, Yobu, who protected Ashina because of what Owl wanted to have happen. So Owl probably used Genichiro to take the kid, knowing full well that Sekiro would stop at nothing to get back to Kuro. So, the Owl's plan works very well. Owl's plan is to have Sekiro kill basically all of the generals, the guy the bouncer at the gate, all of the mini bosses, so that the Interior Ministry, when Sun fell, would smash Ashina to pieces. And Ishin knew this was going to happen, and Ishin kind of welcomed it, whereas Genichiro has kind of, I would say, Genichiro's adopted. Genichiro was a peasant. Genichiro has listened to what samurai are supposed to be, and samurai are, or were thought to be, and drank the Kool-Aid. And he was kind of radicalized into what the ideal of a samurai would be. And it drove him nuts and made him very easy to manipulate on Owl's end. Like, there's a lot happening because, Sekiro's not like a player, he's a tool. So it's like I kind of joke, Genichiro seems to have read the Hagakure and thought that the Hagakure was not a mythologization of samurai culture. I'm flipping between different accents, so hopefully that all makes sense. For those who don't know, the Hagakure was written way after the prime of samurai. It was written by a clerk who idolized samurai culture and wrote a big treatise about samurai that later authors like Yukio Mishima drank the Kool-Aid of and thought was for real too. You can probably read it for free on Gutenberg if you wanted to. Let's see. Castle. It's the best one. Here? Nah, I don't think it's there. Yes, that's exactly it, Loki. The Hagakure was written way after, it was written by samurai, but this was when samurai weren't actively fighting. They were clerks and bureaucrats, and there was no wars to fight because this was getting to the near modern age. Remember, samurai weren't erased from anything until the Meiji Restoration. There is no nobility because the Meiji Restoration denobled everybody. Of course, they're still considered noble in all but name. The prince, the crown prince of Japan's sister, she married, who was essentially a samurai without being actually a samurai technically. He's from a samurai family. They run Toyota, I think, the car company. And then because he's technically a commoner, she got expelled from the royal family. So basically there's only the royal family and then commoners now after the Meiji Restoration. But socially, they're still samurai. Oh yeah, you can't exit from here anymore. It's above, it's above. Probably Old Grave is probably the best one. But yeah, like, a lot of a certain subset of 50s, 60s, maybe 70s eras Japanese like, literati were, like, in love with the Hagakure. I'm not working tomorrow. By the way, for those we were talking about, like, God and stuff, check out this eavesdrop if you haven't. He's a monk. He's doing a mantra, but he's not corrupted in the sense that we've seen, but he's not devout either. He's trying to get himself out. He's trying to CYA himself instead of helping or dying with the ship, as it were. Yeah. Alright. Let's go die. Yeah. Ungo spirit fall. Fallen headless spirit of Ungo that reduces vitality damage taken from physical attacks. Consumes spirit emblems to use repeatedly. Headless are the ruined form of corrupted heroes who once fought for their country. This warrior lost his mind in defense of the state. His attempted mutiny was met with a swift beheading and a lifeless. So we were talking about the rebellion of Ashina. Do we think that Ungo was leading that rebellion and got beheaded while his followers got thrown in the dungeon? I mean, the dungeon is, like, right around the corner. Well, it's an Ashina rebellion. Yeah. I assume the state, as it were, were the establishment, and then, like, General Tenzin was, like, the last guy. Maybe. Like, Ishin didn't seem establishment. And I'm not sure if we get a full reason why Ishin went after it, other than Ishin was power hungry. Remember, the Ashina combat art is characterized by, hey, did you win? It doesn't matter how you won, as long as you win. Yeah, he craved exactly fated. I think that's it exactly. I think he craved conquest, not ruling, and those are very different things. And he grew kind of bored. And like, there's a couple of sake things where Emma talks about all the parties that Ishin used to throw because I guess he was just bored. Like, and this, I think this goes right into why he doesn't use open gate in the finale. Because he wants a fight. He is well aware that he is now back at his prime. He has all of his memories of who all these people are. But he's now, like, in some sort of, like, suddenly in his prime. He wants to fight. And he wants to fight Sekiro. Dang it. And that's one of the ideas I have for either an essay or like a video essay about the expectation of power in this game. Because none of the people in power were groomed for it, as it were. Like, they weren't born in it. They were either adopted into it or they took it. And the expectation of that power, of like what that's supposed to mean now, and how, like, there's like how to deal with suddenly being in power is in different places in this game. Like, Genichiro goes super patriotic and Ishin is like, you know, let's have a party and stuff. But like, Sekiro has a clarity of purpose. Like, Genichiro's crushed by that expectation of power. That expectation of responsibility. It's fascinating to think about all of that. Like, he idolizes his grandfather, and he knows that bringing back his grandfather with open gate is gonna bring him back in his prime, because it's hard to tell whether Genichiro believes the lie that Ishin is sick or not. Where's the last couple of headless, anyway? I don't have to get up and look it up. Which ones do I have? Akos Ungos Yashariku. I need Golkan and Gaijin. Well, if we take that, Genichiro knows Ishin is sick. Genichiro just finished repelling an incursion by the Interior Ministry. Like, there was another incursion before the game starts. Like, right before. Because you see a lot of, like, the dead bodies right before Gyobu's boss fight. And Genichiro tells Kuro as such. So he just finished fighting the Interior Ministry. And the Interior Ministry is coming back because most of his generals just got killed by Sekiro. Where's Golkan and Gaichin, anyway? Oh, right, there's... Gaichin is in Mibu. Yeah, I know where you're talking about now. I saw him. I saw them. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back up there. Just checking the time, sorry. Shut up, Rooster. So many angry chickens. Yeah, there it is. You see it? You can see it. I don't think I can get a... I don't think I can get a death blow. Come on! Can't jump out of the way. Every time, go to heal. They pop behind me and they grab my butt. So lewd. I'm gonna take that off. I'll take the terror death, sure. Gaichin Spirit Fall. Fallen headless spirit of Gaichin. Suppresses sound and presence, making the user harder to detect. Consume spirit emblems to use repeatedly. I'm falling to pieces, said the man to himself, drifting deep into the forest. Oh, okay. So, like, Gaichin fell to pieces alone without anyone there to know he was actually even there. That's the problem of being invisible. Nobody knows when you're dead. I don't know why they all go for the butt. They all really want butts. That's why a friend of mine drew a headless as a butt, with a butt head. Yeah. Yeah, and this place was covered by mist. I remember saying to myself, hey, FromSoft, can we get Kingsfield 5, please? I want Kingsfield 5. Because it very much looked like the Holy Forest from Kingsfield 4. Hi. Yeah, he lost himself in it. Like, he was... Like, that... It's kind of a Twilight Zone kind of thing. And it makes sense to me in that respect. Like, when you are a ghost, you lose yourself, and you start falling to pieces. And I guess he, like, lost his head. And was corrupted. Too much of a good thing. Too much of a ghost, and you become a ghost. Yeah, it's definitely a Japanese trope. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Kwaidan about it. Although the ones I know are not, like, enforced. The last headless is in Mibu? Or... something something Snake's place? Actually, do I even have enough confetti? I only have 2. I'm spitballing a whole bunch of ideas. Hopefully I can get some footage off of this PS4 and on my computer. Beneath the Serpent's Shrine? Okay. Yeah, I just came back over here to see if I can't turn some coins in for some... Sixes. 3,500. 500. Hold on a second. Oh. Okay. I have 4,000 in coin bags. I don't super want to use them. Alright, back to Fountainhead, I guess. I'm gonna get 500 and buy the Phantom Kunai, and then I guess we're gonna get some more Divine Confetti with the rest of the cash we get. And then go after the last headless. Although it's kind of funny that they go after your butt, because there's now that I think of it, there's a Japanese like humor thing, and a lot of the manzai comedy guys do it, but it's like a comedy thing where you're like reaching for people's butts in the same way as the headless do. There's a term for it. I don't remember it. Somebody can look it up. And people go around trying to grab each other's butts. And I guess because of this, because of like yokai doing the same thing. So kind of makes sense that the headless do that too. It's a little weird because, like, it doesn't matter who you are, they try to, like, grab your butt that way. It's really weird. Okay, that's 500. So that should get us Phantom Kunai. Hey, Corey. I like my farming as mindless as possible. Have I ever been back here? I know there's a faster route on the outskirts. but it requires more mental thought than I want to give. Thanks. Much appreciated. I'm gonna max out the skill point and then peace out and go shopping. Ooh, in LA or somewhere else? Very nice. Does that mean they're going to finally actually announce 7 Remake? I bought 7 when I was in high school. Don't ask how long ago that was. Actually, you can. I'm just gonna date it. This was like 2000? KB Toys was closing. PS2 was out. And I bought 7 and Xenosaga 1. Their Vils of March. Because, KB Toys is going out of business, so... I actually never ended up playing 7. I still own it. It's in my closet. Never played it. Like, I bought Xenosaga, and, like, that's what I ended up playing, and then I, like, backlogged 7 real hard. There's something going on. There's something I'm really scared about with, Square Enix these days. PS5 launch title. Who else is interested in who else has seen PS5 leaked, announced specs from Mark Cerny at Wired? I mean, they look real good, but the proof is in the games, or the pudding. Are the games pudding? Games are pudding. I'd really like it if the PS5 was, like, fully backwards compatible with at least PS1 and PS2 games. I know PS3s are weird. I just wanna put my PS3 away. I just wanna put it away. It'd be really weird if the PS3 was sitting next to the PS5. Because I'd have to put my PS4 away. Yeah, it's backwards compatible with PS4, and it shouldn't be that hard for them to be able to, like, say, okay, you can stick a PS1 disc in here. Smartphones can do it on emulation now. Come on. Like the PS3, you can throw a PS1 disc in there, in any PS3 and it'll work. PS3 discs. PS2s if you have a really old one. Hell, you can play The Adventures of Cookies and Cream digitally on the PS3's version of the PSN store. I mean... Side note, go buy The Adventures of Cookies and Cream on the PSN store for the PS3. And I think Vita. Because I think it's cross-compatible with the Vita. We are gonna pick this up. At the very least, all of the digital games that are available digitally right now should be compatible with the PS4 and the PS5. All of them. Like, The Adventures of Cookies and Cream is somehow only compatible with the PS3. All these PS1 games are on the PSN store, but only compatible on the PS3 and Vita. Well, why aren't they compatible on the PS4? What's the deal? Come on, Mark Cerny. I just want to put my PS3 away. Something something trophies, something something something. Alright, we were doing... Oh yeah, Divine Confetti's over here. I should get an Xbox, or at least get one get like an Xbox One S or something when they put Otogi on backwards compatibility, so I can actually play Otogi. I bought Otogi 2 a while ago because it was there. I'm a bad and I collect FromSoft games, so I have a whole bunch of them. Preferably physically. My unicorn is Kuon. Kuon is like a $400 game. Anyway. Oh yeah. So does Switch though. Switch now has Cuphead. Yeah, I've always wanted to play Cuphead, but I don't have a Switch and I don't have an Xbox. I need a grand and more scrap iron. I need to farm scrap iron. Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, the US version of Kuon is a $400 game. It's super rare. Super rare. Ridio is real fun. I mean, Demon's Souls is real fun. Yeah. That might be the rarest FromSoft game in the catalog. A lot of survival horror games from the PS2 era are like super rare for some reason. Rule of Rose is about the same price. Kuon is like $400. Rule of Rose. Haunting Ground Complete Edition is like $200 to $300. It's ridiculous. Alright, we're going to the snake. My latest buy is actually Echo Knight Beyond, which finally came down in price on eBay. I got it for like $60. Complete editions of it have been going for over 100 and some odd dollars. You know who got one of those Sekiro Xbox games? Lance, the cut content guy. Like he won one. Corey, if you want like suggestions as to what is actually good and what is merely interesting to play, let me know. I'll be happy to help you like figure out what to like focus on. Yeah, no, he legitimately won it. It was like he posted about it on Twitter. He like somehow won it. But he's been working real hard, so he deserves it. Karma. Loki, dog, please. Oh, video about free. Well, I am. My goal is to actually do LPs of all of them eventually. That's my goal. Like, once I'm finished with Sekiro stuff, I'm probably going to release an LP of either Shadow Tower Abyss first, or an actual LP of Echo Knight 2. Am I in the right place? This is what I thought of when people said Snake Shine. It should be on Twitch. I'm not sure if I transferred it to YouTube. It should be here, though. There's a collection of it. There's a collection for it, rather. Yeah, my goal is to have the whole catalog. I mean, some of it's unattainable, but that's the goal. I do have to keep reminding me. I do have to finish that. I'm like midway through Kingsfield 4. Alright. That is... the one with the stone graves. By the graves. Not old grave, right? It's beat by pool of water. I always remind myself I need to, like, finish Kingsfield 4. I was having a lot of fun, but, like, stuff happened. I'm gonna be that meme where you, like, come back to a save file after, like, 6 months and have no idea what's going on. Now, if you take, Faded, are you familiar with Kuan? Because there are some stealth Kuan references in this game. Okay. Kuan is the one FromSoft game that legitimately says in the Japanese VO, Kegare. It is a... Let me put this as succinctly as I possibly can. Just to say not at all. Someone tell me which bonfire I need to go to for the last headless. Yeah. Actually talk... Yes. It is absolutely, positively all about Kegare. So, Kuan is about 2 mulberry trees who... which are the food for silkworms. It is being used to enact an immortality kind of spell by taking the grudges of 9 different individuals and stuffing them in a box, starting with silkworms and moving all the way up. You're basically making your own silkworm spirit in Kuan. The entire Fujiwara mansion, because it's a Fujiwara clan holding, is basically awash in blood, awash in stuff like that. There is water all over the place throughout the mansion, and how you save the game is you have limited saves in this game because it's survival horror. You get little papers to send your sin down the river, and it's written in the Japanese and the Japanese VO. You are sending your kegare down the river. Towards the end of the game, you find all of your little save files, and the water is turned to blood. They're like stuck in a dead end underground in the nursery. Yep. Sorry, I had to like put my controller down and like talk with my hands. None of you saw that because I don't have my camera on. I have an LP of it on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's divided into 2 parts because there are 2 different... Technically there's 3 protagonists, but you only really play 2. The 3rd protagonist is a victory lap. I love... Kuan is like my favorite... It's hard to say if it's my favorite because Shadow Tower Abyss is one of my favorites too. Right. So like there's some stealth references, but they're not like 1-to-1. Also the way that Ishin comes out of his grandchild is directly out of Kuan. Because a character dies in that way. Alright, Serpent Shrine. Really? Yeah. Also, one of the bosses is Lady Fujiwara. And after she accidentally is like thrown into a box with a centipede, her entire neck becomes a centipede. So like, the top of her head, big long centipede, and then the rest of her body. My least favorite is Evergrace. Bought Evergrace for $5. Not my favorite. Serpent Shrine. Shadow Tower Abyss and Kuan are my favorites. What the heck? What the hell? Great, the poison must go somewhere. I'm not doing a great job about describing Kuon's various Kegare stuff, but trust me, there's some good references. Dang it, you guys are jerks. Of course I could have healed, but nah. Very much a thing about and a very interesting callback to Centipede are vermin, Bloodborne, Kuon, this game. Time for a little bit of revenge. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Hey, fulminated mercury, sweet. Hmm. Interesting. Sigh. Story of my life, really. Going the wrong way. Whoops, hit the wrong one. So shrine, and drop off to the right. Alright. It was an attempt at least. Let's try under Shrine Valley, I guess? Oh, come on. That's a silly death scream. Life is cruel. Life is suffering. Welcome to Sekiro. It's not a better way up there. Come on, and I hit the square button. It's just dropping the square button input. I'm like holding it down. I'm holding it down. Yeah, it's not taking the first input. Durr. This is better than Guardian Ape. Everything's better than Guardian Ape. Okay. I'll have to come back, but... We did it. We did it, everybody. National Nightmare. I much prefer fighting Demon of Hatred. I actually really love Demon of Hatred. That's like one of my favorite fights in this game. I hate Guardian Ape. I actually hated the Guardian Ape headless version more. Like, Ishin, Demon of Hatred, True Monk are two of my favorites. I mean, are my favorites, yeah. I'm not gonna be able to do this in one, but we'll try. I remember this. We came across this person. Oh, come on! Every time! I'm like trying to get away. Stop grabbing my butt. Rude. Ah, damn it. Terror got me. Yeah, True Monk's really fun. I think Ishin should have been checkpointed after Genichiro. But I didn't super mind his phases. Well, the fourth phase is essentially a victory lap. Here we go again. I thought I had this. There we go. Okay. I think phase 3 of 4 is probably the hardest one. 4 is easier because you can do a lot more damage on them, so that you can do posture. Come on, I was in the middle of a frickin' thing. Oh, come on. I think I'm out of divine confetti. Oh, I only have one. Alright, well then I have to come back to this. Blah. Alright, so that's 3.5 hours. We need to farm for some divine confetti, kill that last one. Oh yeah. The lightning is actually the best part. That's part of the reason why I think it's a victory lap, because you can do a crap ton of damage if you can get the reflect on them. And you can finish phase 4 very quickly. You gotta ride the lightning. You gotta get that song in your head. You gotta ride the lightning. Okay, so 3.5 hours. I should be free tomorrow. We'll get that last headless, and we'll farm for some more skills, I think, because we have quite a few bits of the tree to go. Maybe we'll start NG+. We also got to get the parts of Tomoe's mask too. Yeah. Alright, so thank you for this chill stream and hanging out, talking lore, chewing the fat. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.